Yeah, I got a third one.
In Paris gave you 3 matches?
This is my third one.
That's nice.
Yeah, I don't think they actually like look at if we actually match. Anyway, hello and welcome. You are listening to Local Chai. We are your hosts.
I'm Akil.
I'm Kiki.
And I'm Zane. And we are
your
Chai Wallet.
Today we're going to be talking about kindness and judgment.
So let's start with our confession, which I can't pull up right now. Could you pull it up, please?
Yes.
It'll pop right on the screen.
Oh.
Confession. One of the things I am scared of telling a potential is that I struggle reading the Quran. I find it extremely embarrassing, especially since I know without a doubt that Islam is the true religion. What takes some people a day to learn a surah, it will take me 2 to 3 weeks for 4 lines. Most people don't believe me, and even the Hafiz that would teach me would say he hates reading the Quran or he doesn't like Islam. It was heartbreaking. There's a lot to unpack here, especially in the second paragraph. So should we start easy and just tackle the first sentence?
Oh, I was ready to go backwards. I'm like, yo.
All right, we can go backwards.
What do you think, Kiki? Do you want to start from back or forwards or
We can
back?
start backwards. We can work our way back.
Yeah, let's work.
Okay, that's just a messed up thing to say. You're a teacher, right? Now, if you're a teacher and you know your student hasn't been practicing, you could be like, hey, you got to practice more, right? Make some time for, and this is teaching anything, Quran or anything, practice more, right? Martial arts people also say that, hey, you got to practice more. But to say, hey, you hate practicing martial arts, you hate reading the Quran, especially when it comes to religion, you hate the Quran, you hate practicing this religion. Imagine if this person was a convert to Islam. I mean, that will drive them away.
I mean, they have no doubt that Islam is the true religion. So I don't. Maybe they talk to their Hafiz about that, and they're like, okay, so you can say whatever you want, and they're not going to turn away. Because I guess even having not read the book, they have no doubt that it's the true religion. Mm-hmm. That's going to be hard to change.
But a lot of people do leave the religion because of the attitude of others. Like when we do dawah, I think the most effective dawah is when you become friends and build authentic bonds with non-Muslims and then convert them like that, because they just hang out with you and they see you're a good character. Like, I want to be like that, and they become Muslim, right? And you get a lot of hasanat, right? But imagine the sins you might get if your character led you to make someone else leave Islam.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the flip is also true. Like,
yeah,
I don't know. I would never say that. I would be afraid if I said that I'll hurt them so bad that they left Islam, and then that would be.
But like, is that the point? Because I feel like he's this person. I don't even know why I'm saying he or she. Oh wait, there it is a he. JK. So this person, like, he's saying he struggles with reading the Quran and he's embarrassed, but like in Islam, like there's more beauty if you're struggling reading the Quran. Mm-hmm. So like you're getting more reward for reading it, not incorrectly, but like just struggling to say the words. So like he's adding up like extra deeds just by doing that. And like, sure, it's scary to tell your potential that like you struggle reading with the Quran, but like you're being vulnerable. You get to connect with the partner, and maybe the partner can help in a way that is reassuring or creates that safe space for them to like easily learn.
Yeah. I think it's the same thing that we talked about a few episodes ago with the Ramadan breakups. Like, mm-hmm. This is a religious struggle that you're having. You'd want your partner to be supportive of you in that struggle, to be helpful to you in that struggle, right? So if you're saying, I'm going to hide that I'm struggling to find a potential partner, and then they find out, or you struggle with something else later on, does that mean that they're not going to support you in that struggle if they're not going to support you in this one?
Right.
Do you think, bringing back to the Hafiz, like this guy's, he's scared. He's saying he's extremely embarrassed to tell people his potentials, mm-hmm. right? So do you think it's because of his experience with his teachers being so mean to him that he's projecting that on to potentials.
I think it could low-key be like maybe like a previous potential that has scarred him.
Wow.
Yeah, if you're learning the Quran with a hafiz, then everyone around you is learning the Quran. There's no reason to be embarrassed until somebody brings it up.
Yeah. So clearly he shared it with somebody.
He shared it with somebody, and then he's also comparing himself to other people as well. But I got to admit, I'm on Team Hafiz here because I'm a religious education teacher, and I tell people about my struggles, about the things that I don't like or things that I didn't like. I don't think I've said I hated anything unless it was obvious it was a joke. But I think it's important for teachers to share their own difficulties with their students and be like, yes, I know reading the Quran is difficult. I've been through it. But, and this is the part that I'm hoping the Hafiz said, and they just left out of this confession. Yes, it is difficult, but it is worth it. Right? It is worth it to overcome this struggle. But I think this confessor, yeah. And I think this confessor just heard the first part, and the first part stuck with them of, yes, it is hard. Yes, I do hate it sometimes because it is difficult, right?
Yeah. And if you're listening, something because my nephew, mashallah, is in a Hafiz program, and one thing my brother said was when he first started, he struggled with the smaller surahs, but like the more you do it, like you'll struggle just memorizing 4 lines in a week, but then the more you do it, as the years go by, you're memorizing 3 pages in an hour, right? Because you just got that many more repetitions in it. And that's why I think Islam also encouraged you, as Kiki said, when you struggle, you get more deeds. Because when you're struggling, you're also building that base to get better in the future. Also, you're investing in yourself in multiple ways. So yeah, there's no reason to be embarrassed about it. I think you guys have a point. He probably shared that with a potential. And
so tell your potential that you're struggling. Best case scenario, they'll help you. Worst case scenario, you'll have an opportunity to find someone better.
Let me add to that, to the potentials.
Yeah.
This is all about kindness and judgment. Potentials, if you're a person, period, don't make the other person into a project. Like, he struggles with the Quran. They're not your project. Don't try to mold them.
Then how will I get married? I need a project. I'm kidding.
Yeah, you need a project. And then once you fix them, you can throw them away. That's how it works, right?
Okay. I just know a lot of brothers who did struggle, and then they didn't even struggle. They just, had their goals that were misaligned with their potentials. And the potential was like, well, you got to fix this and that, like read better Quran. But I guess he wanted to prioritize something else in the religion. And it's just like, he told me after they weren't together anymore that he felt like a project. That the only reason she took him on was that he's a project. And her parents were also saying, oh, you have a lot of work to do with this guy. So her parents also saw him as a project. Yeah. And I think that's very mean to see people as projects and not as just people struggling.
I think it really matters how you say it. I think that's the biggest thing, how your message comes across to the other person. And you can be kind with your words because your words will stay with the person for a very long time.
Yeah.
And that's really, I don't think we really pay attention to that enough.
I also think that there's a huge line between being supportive of someone, being helpful to someone, and being a project or turning someone into a project. That might be worth discussing on a future episode. Where do we draw that line?
Oh, kindness. That's deep. That's a very deep discussion.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And just choosing our words, not just to potentials, but if you're a teacher also, you were saying this, Akil, that he probably said the rest of it that was very encouraging, but only these few words stuck with him. Also, as a teacher, keep in mind. As a parent, keep in mind. I notice sometimes I'm not conscious about what I tell or say to my kids. And I see it in their eyes. I describe it like, oh my God, am I breaking my kid? And then right when I see their eyes flicker, I'm like, oh no, wait. I give them a hug. And as I'm hugging them, I'm thinking about, how do I rephrase this?
Yeah.
And then I rephrased it, right? yeah. So like
Mhm.
that happens. So even as a parent, also make sure how you phrase things, because how you phrase things could break your child or make your child.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
talking, yeah. And
Yeah.
if you're a narcissistic parent, you're going to break your child. I'm going to be
Oh
very
yeah.
honest with that. So
Yes.
fix that right now, because I have a lot of friends who did have narcissistic parents, and
Mhm.
they tell me like sometimes I'm just feeling down on myself, like yo, I mess up my kids, and I go talk to them, and then they tell me a story, and I'm just like, oh, like be careful what you say.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Right.
Speaking about being kind to one another.
Is this the same guy?
It's the same guy.
Sorry. Listen, when I wrote these episodes, he was just on my For You page a lot, so I just kept. But
Oh
he's not on my
man.
For You page
I'm so
anymore.
tired of
So
seeing his face.
Mhm.
at the time of writing, I was tired of seeing his face too. But he's no longer on my FYP, so you're not going to see his videos on the episode.
So you
anymore.
traumatized me instead?
Yeah.
You went shooting without me, so like this is your recompense. I don't know what word I just made.
Recompense.
But yeah.
Recompense.
Yeah, I don't know, man. You know, you're the religious
Yeah.
teacher. Let's go.
Okay, let's press play.
All right, let's listen to Sad Jafar.
He's like a type of guy that he's like, I can't stand it if a woman tries to talk back or give me attitude. He's like
Neither
that.
can
Like,
I.
he
Shut your
can't
mouth.
take it.
Shut your mouth. Why are you talking? If you're, listen, you have to understand something. It's a respect thing, just to yourself. If your husband is telling you to zip it, zip it.
Man,
I just looked at
why
Zen's
do you
face.
show me
Did you-
these videos?
Did you forget that you put this in the outline?
Yo, I forgot that was the video. I was like, I'm watching this for the. I'm like, yo, did he really just say this? I'm so sorry. Put a trigger warning. Yo, edit this video. Put a trigger warning, bro. Like,
Oh my goodness.
Okay, he's not being respectful, and he's like, I demand respect, so like respect
Mhm.
me. Like, why are you not? Respect is a two-way street.
Not for him.
Well,
Obviously.
clearly, yeah.
Yeah. Zen, are you raising your hand?
I'm just like I'm giving props. Like, yeah, that was good. But I noticed when I point to Kiki, it actually points to you. When I point to you, it points to Kiki. So like it's weird. I was like, oh yeah, she has a point, but I'm pointing to you. So that's
Yeah, that's
yeah.
Well, if they're listening, no one has any idea who's pointing where. You know,
Cameras flipped. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, respect is a two-way street. And usually you don't demand respect. Like people start respecting you because they
based on
treat
your
you.
actions. And
Yeah,
your
based on
words,
your actions and the way you treat them. If you treat someone with kindness and respect and not in a non-judgmental way, they tend to reciprocate that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Tend to. Not 100% of the time.
Hmm.
And I think what makes it really, like how you know it works is if someone's being disrespectful to you, are you still going to be respectful? Or is that like your trigger point and you're like, well, somebody disrespected me once, so I'm going to be disrespectful to them for the entire time? Because I've seen that a lot as well.
I'm the type of guy who likes being left alone, but then when you push my buttons and you disrespect me, I do take it too far.
We
Right.
know.
So yeah.
Yeah, we know.
We're aware.
I'll be very respectful and kind and non-judgmental
Yep.
until you cross the line. Once you cross the
Mhm.
line, I'm going to take it too far.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. When were you last? When were you kind last? I'm kidding.
Yeah.
You
It
weren't
was-
shooting
it was
without
right
me.
before.
Like you don't have like.
The last time Zen was kind to you was right before the first time you were mean to him.
He got me sick the first time I met him. I was sick for the whole weekend.
I bought you ice cream and hamburgers.
The burger got me food poisoning. I was sick the whole weekend.
No.
I didn't tell you. I didn't want to make you feel bad, but like it's been a month. It's been over a month. I'm over it.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just a bad friend. Okay, I
That's
get
fine.
it.
No.
No.
That's a
No.
kind thing she did, right? She hid that thing from me
Yeah.
because she knew it would hurt me. That's all
Now I'm
about
more
kindness.
comfortable. Therefore, I'm like, you got me sick.
So here's the question, Zen, does it hurt you now that she's brought it up?
No, it doesn't hurt me, but I do. Tell me things earlier now. tell me things
Well,
earlier.
I
now.
would now. I
Yeah.
tell it
Yeah.
straight to your face. You know this very
Yeah,
well.
yeah, and I like that. Like, because if you tell me later, it's just like, why are you telling me this now? It already happened. Like, I can't fix it. I can't.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
came.
Do
You
what I
came
gotta
on.
do.
You came here, and I was like, "Go fix your hair." You went.
Yeah, immediately.
Yes. Yeah. And not a lot of people could talk to me like that. I'm just gonna be very honest.
Yes.
I mean, you are
very-
Zayn Bhai, so like,
Yeah,
you know,
sure.
I say
Mhm.
this pyar se
Yeah.
type of situation.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And see that's respectful, right? She calls me
Yeah.
Zamba. She's like, go fix your hair, because I know she's doing it for a reason out of respect, and she's looking out for my best interest, right?
Mhm.
So going back to this video, if you have a certain amount of rapport, which you should, with your spouse, and there's an emergency situation, I could see why husband or wife tells their spouse, yo, zip it. I need you to be quiet right now, right? I could completely understand that. But I don't think that was the context of this person.
I don't think even in an emergency context, like, sure, like in an emergency, you can be like, zip it if you have that rapport, but then that
Yeah.
also needs to be sort of tackled a little bit later.
Oh,
And
yeah.
then
Yeah. Oh, you
after,
definitely have a conversation.
Be like,
with-
hey, this is why I said it. This is why I was rude. I'm
Oh.
sorry if it like hurt you, etc. and so forth. Even if you have that
Yes.
rapport, I feel like those types of things still need to be said in a relationship.
Yeah.
That goes back to having respect, right? You obviously need to revisit, like, hey, why'd you do that?
Mhm.
Like, listen, there's a situation, and hence I did it that way.
But like, I
next,
still
let's talk
feel
about doing
like
better.
you can say it more respectfully versus
Oh,
saying
absolutely.
zip
Yeah.
it.
Shut your
Yeah,
mouth.
zip it is-
It's the worst way to say it.
Yeah, that is a very The wording to that. What I'm trying
Yeah.
to say is you could be short and direct,
Yes.
and not necessarily the. You don't have to be
Like-
straight up rude, but it might not be the gentlest way. And
Yeah.
then later you could talk like, "Hey, I wasn't gentle, and I'm sorry I talked to you like that but this was what was happening, and I just needed this to happen. And let's discuss how, if we're in a similar situation in the future, how we could communicate faster."
Yes. for
That's
sure.
all.
Just be like,
right?
add some glue to your lips for a little bit. The other person's going to sit there confused for a few, like 2 seconds, and then it'll just like, simmer down, and then you can continue.
Add some glue to your lips. Have you ever said that to somebody?
No, but I would like to now.
Oh my goodness.
Oh,
Use it. Let me know.
I am so
Yes.
using it. I just have to join another like Muslim group and just randomly say that to somebody.
I feel like
Oh.
every week I'm just going to now just like, hey, everybody, say this
Yes.
or text this.
Hey,
Um,
viewers at home, tell your friends to add some glue to their lips and let us know in the comments how that goes for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so like if you need to be direct, you need to be direct. There's no way around that. But like what this guy did is not direct. It's childish.
Yeah.
It's very immature.
Also,
And that I think that has no place even in an emergency situation.
oh, absolutely. I think with this guy, I just thought about this when we're talking about kindness and kindness. I don't think he is asking for respect. I think what he's doing is asking for control, and he's mistaking
demanding.
respect for
Yeah.
control. Yeah.
Mhm.
And he's not being respectful because he doesn't care about he gets respect or not. He only cares about if he's in control. And I think a lot of Muslim men and a lot of men in general and women don't understand the difference between respect and control.
Mhm.
So
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
interesting. Yeah.
And what Kiki said is he's not asking for it either. He's demanding it. He's demanding, I forgot the word. Not subservience, but yeah, kind of subservience. Like obedience. He's demanding obedience and confusing that for respect. And
He
I think
wants her to be submissive.
yes,
just
he
like-
wants her to be submissive. Even though I think in this video it's some random lady whose face
He's
is blurred
saying,
out.
my husband tells me to shut up.
Yeah.
And he's saying, well, then shut up,
Yeah.
which is
Dumb. Very dumb.
Because he's not even asking, like, okay,
Context.
like, what happened?
Yeah.
Like, how did we get here?
Hmm.
Yeah.
What is the context?
yeah, what is the context? Like,
But for him, I guess the context doesn't matter because it's be obedient to your husband no matter what.
Yeah.
Which is I see that a lot in like a lot of old world relationships, like in my grandparents, RIP, or like other like recent immigrants, where the expectation of respect, whether it's between a couple or like between a child and their parents, is defined as obedience, right? You respect by obeying what the other person says 100% of the time, and it's not an equal relationship at all. Have you guys experienced that?
I have experienced that as parent child,
Hmm.
right? Parent child, I have experienced that, and it's for and it's understandable because there is a power dynamic, and your
Hmm.
parents are, you know, more powerful than you, right? But as far as husband and wife, I could tell you all my Majid uncles and my parents, if they if one spouse talks to another spouse like the way he just said it, it doesn't matter if it's the husband talking to the wife or the wife talking to the husband, something was gonna go down.
Yeah.
Something was gonna go down. Um, but yeah, with parent child, I do see that a lot in parent child relations,
Okay.
which is something I also have to break because I will like I said, I will see myself or hear myself like, wait, did I just say that? And I see like my child's eyes flicker, and I'm like, wait a second, let me bring it back, right? I did this morning. I hugged her. I'm like, let me think about what I'm saying and how I could phrase it better, right?
Yeah.
So yeah,
I
I do
think
see
it's
that a lot.
like with each relationship or situationship, whatever, you learn as you go, and then you like hopefully learn not to repeat something next time as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yes. But here's the thing: as adults, when you're a parent child, Kiki, what you said is absolutely true, right? You realize you said something, don't say it that way. But as adults, in what context do you speak to another adult, either at work or doing your hobby, hanging out? Do you tell another adult to zip it? Right? Your spouse is another adult who's in partnership with you. Like you went shooting without me yesterday, and in shooting you have to follow certain safety rules. And let's say you broke a rule. No one's gonna say,
Ceasefire.
yes, they'll say ceasefire. But no one's gonna tell you zip it. I'm talking, right? No one's gonna say that, even in a professional setting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In
But like
any professional setting.
there's that underlying like respect there, right? And like
Yeah.
I think in relationships sometimes we get so comfortable we forget the respect is there possibly. And therefore that's when we think we like not own but like can demand and just like, force that like you need to do it this way or be this way or like zip it, whatever. So like
Mhm.
that could be.
But I think one thing is people see relationships as a power dynamic, going sometimes so far as to like objectify the other person or claim ownership of the other person, where we see this. And sometimes I see it where it's just main character energy. So someone in the group of friends thinks that whatever they have to say is more important than what anyone else has to say. And they will sort of assert themselves in that group, either by saying zip it or shut your mouth, or in more subtle ways by like their body posture or their interrupting or stuff like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a few things that can go into it, but I think in a partnership, especially in a marriage, it needs to be shared. I don't know. I haven't been married. You guys can weigh in on that.
I never told anyone to zip it. Like that just like unless
Yeah.
like I don't remember the fights, but I could see like a couple just fighting and emotions are high and then something like that slips up out. I could see that in a fight, and that's understandable. Your emotions are high, you in the heat of the moment. But this is like, I told you to shut up, shut up. It's like she's taller than you. If you want respect, you need to be respectful to her and listen to her. Now I could understand, one of the things my therapist said is like when you feel angry or when you're feeling like your anger is rising and you're entering that rage mode, just say, "Hey, I need a second," right?
Yeah.
Which works real nice with my kids. Like I tell them, like, "Baba needs a second," and my kids know, like, okay, and then then I'll come back to them and listen to them, right? Especially like if I'm cooking and stuff, and like they're just on me. Like one time I burned something real bad, right? And I was just mad because like it was dangerous, right? And I did get upset, and then I apologized. But then I told her, like, listen, when I say in a second, because she was just making me mad, I told her, like, in a second, and that just means go, Baba will listen. I promise I'll listen to you, right?
Yeah.
So that helps in a second. I don't think my
Um,
therapist told me to say zip it, though.
I actually thought of something since you were saying, like, you guys have been married, and I learned this, like, I mean, I guess while I was married, or possibly like after, during the therapy sessions and whatnot. And, like, here we're talking about people saying zip it, shut up, whatever to each other. Then we should realize there's also the opposite of that, where it's just like cold silence, called stonewalling. And that's also a thing. And, like, that was something I did because I just, like, can't react so much like that. So it's like I just shut down.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but that can also be disrespectful as well, because where you're just like, I don't want to have a conversation at all.
Oh, so you were giving a cold shoulder. You weren't like giving
Stonewalling.
my. Oh, okay. What? What did you call it?
It's called stonewalling.
Stonewalling. I think
Stonewalling.
that's different from cold shoulder.
Oh, okay.
Because cold shoulder is like ignoring them, I think. And then
Mhm.
stonewalling is more of a confrontational silence, would you say? Yeah. Do I need to look these up? I'm gonna
Yeah.
look these up.
Can you explain like how? I'm sorry, Stonewall. It's the first time hearing it. Like, for example,
Yeah.
for me, I know if I need a second, say, hey, I need a second. I'll talk to you in a sec. I promise I'll talk to you. Just give me a second to calm down, right? Because my
Oh, okay.
emotions are getting high.
Okay,
But
so
what is stonewalling?
stonewalling is
Yeah.
So stonewalling is a persistent refusal to communicate or express emotions.
Oh.
Yes.
which is disrespectful in its own way too.
It is disrespectful. I've done this to students for disciplinary reasons. Because like
I
if
wasn't disciplining anyone.
yeah. So maybe this is what you were doing to your husband too. Because what I would do is if a student did something that they weren't supposed to do, I'd pull them aside and then just stare at them. And usually what would happen is they would sort of like they'd have their tough guy attitude because like, oh, I'm a little rebel and I brought my fidget spinner or whatever to class. And then after a few like 30 seconds, maybe a minute of me not saying anything to them, they'd break a little bit and they'll be like, I'm sorry, I know I'm not supposed to do that. I'll be better next time. This is why what I did was wrong. This is how I'm going to fix it, without me saying anything. So I'm going to say stonewalling is useful. But also there's a power dynamic at play. And I don't think that power dynamic should exist in a marriage.
Yeah.
Because it is also a little bit infantilizing, right?
Yeah. But I don't think that's stonewalling because you did communicate, just not with your words. You communicated with your eyes. Like, the reason I say that is because I let my kids finally spend their ED money because they saved their ED money, their chore money, and their birthday money, right? And then Esma also gets memorization money, right? So
Kids get
they all
money.
save.
Lucky.
Yeah. I'm that white parrot. So they went to Target and GameStop, right? So I told us, man, you're not gonna spend all your money. You're gonna spend it in either GameStop or Target. But when she got to Target, bro, right? Like, I don't know what happened. And I just looked at her.
She's a girl and she goes to Target. That's what happened.
Yeah, that's what happened. She already bought her toy from GameStop, and her sister wanted to buy something from Target. And I just looked at her. I got on her level, and I made.
You did the Daisy stare.
Our eyes met, and I just looked at her for a good 15 to 20 seconds, and then she's like, "Sorry, Baba." And then she explained what she did, and then she stopped, right? But yo, I noticed my emotions were going up, and at that time I could raise my voice, tell her to zip it, put glue on your lips, right? I'm definitely gonna use that the next time I get angry. I'm like, ooh, here's an opportunity. Yeah, I'm gonna use that. I'm definitely gonna use that. I'm using that. I'm blaming Kiki for it.
Wait, just make sure your kids don't actually put glue on their lips.
Don't blame me.
Yeah, my kids put glue on everything, bro. Especially, you know what? I think I'm not gonna use that line on my kids because they put glue on everything.
Mhm.
But
Say put non-sticky glue on your lips.
sure. But they will
Not
actually
that
laugh
I would-
about it. They'll find it like funny. That's why I think I'll use
Yeah.
it when I'm angry because they'll probably
Mhm.
laugh and then I'll laugh. But yeah, as I realized it one time. But with my middle child, when I try to do that, the second child, man, daddy's little girl, I try to do that, and like she stared back at me, right? And then like I cracked and started laughing, and then she started laughing. I was like, so I don't think it's stonewalling. You're still like
Yeah.
communicating with the
No,
child.
but you're
the
you're
person.
But
ignoring their existence.
Yeah, I'm not
No,
ignoring their
yeah.
existence. I'm looking at them.
Yeah, so that's not
Like, yeah.
stonewalling.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's not stonewalling.
Yes.
So
I thought stonewalling is refusal to communicate or express emotions.
hmm,
So if you're doing the Daisy stare at her, that's expressing emotions.
Yeah.
yeah,
But if you're just kind of like, the listeners are gonna love this.
Silence. Just silent stares.
Yeah,
yeah,
no emotions, no nothing, no Daisy stare.
Or
Hmm.
like not even staring, right? Like you could
Yeah.
just ignore their existence and look the other way.
ouch. How do you
Yeah.
wait? How do you
Exactly,
do that?
ouch.
How do you do that in
Exactly.
a? I'm sorry. You said you did this.
Okay, I don't want to go into detail, but
Oh,
like
okay. Sure, I'm sorry.
I'm
I
just
just
saying,
can't
like, I
picture doing
learned
that.
from it that, like,
Learn
I'm
from-
just
yeah.
saying that it's also something that you can tell one person to shut up, but then you can tell the other person nothing and just, like, ignore them. And that's
Yeah.
still disrespectful. And, like, I mean, obviously, I learned this and I was like, okay, this is wrong. Don't do this again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like that goes back to the primary rule of relationships, and that's whoever cares less holds more power. Because when you're stonewalling someone, you're demonstrating that you care less. Does that make sense? No,
I can
because
see.
you're not giving in to their
but you're
whatever
still
they're saying.
reacting in a way.
When you're stonewalling,
Because
you're not showing your reactions.
You're not showing but you're still trying to make a statement.
Yeah,
Like if
but
someone's trying to talk to you like akil, and you're just still moving around the kitchen, getting something from the fridge, and
Yeah.
then going to the dining room table and ignoring your wife saying akil 15 times.
yeah, then I hold the power in that situation.
Yeah.
They're the weak ones. I'm the strong one. Because I'm not caving to what they are
Yeah.
saying. Right?
Yeah. That's my like both ways. Just going back to like, how do you live with people who are not kind? Right. This goes back to the first segment of the confession. How do you live with someone who's going to be condescending because you struggle reading Quran? Then to this segment, how do you live with someone who tells you to zip it? And how do you live with someone when they get upset with you, they stonewall you? One day of stonewalling is fine, but if it's like 2 days or 3 days of stonewalling, like
Yeah.
I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, yo, I'll go insane.
Yeah.
Like I'll probably just get in the car and just leave. Like peace. Like I'm not even dealing with this.
Mhm.
I mean,
You
even
know?
in Islam, right? Like you shouldn't stay mad for
Yeah.
after 3 days.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
true, fair. But if someone was stonewalling me for 3 days, I think I
Yeah.
might just like get in the car and go to the bookstore and read a
Yeah.
comic book.
Yeah,
That's
please,
what I would do.
viewers, don't take this as like stay mad for 3 days and then let's.
Yeah.
I was about to say, I got 3 days. I'm like in someone's text messages apologizing after 2 hours. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But like, how do you live with people who are not kind, who are condescending
Yeah.
because you
I mean,
struggle
you
with
wouldn't know
stuff?
this until you live with them, right?
Okay, but then how
Yeah.
do you continue that relationship? Like if this guy's married to 2 women, right? How's he married to 2 women? Like what woman was like, yeah, I'll marry that?
I have
Did
two
he end up marrying the
hypotheses.
maid?
He has
No, he
two.
didn't.
He has 2 wives.
He had 2 wives before the maid.
Yeah, he
Oh,
had 2
okay.
wives before that podcast.
Yeah. And I guess he
I was
didn't.
like,
That was a
yeah.
hypothetical maid.
Yeah, he has pictures with both his wives.
Yeah.
Like side by side?
Yeah. Oh,
Oh,
you
wow.
haven't seen that picture? Okay.
Send it. So I have,
I don't think it's appropriate.
no, like to private chat.
Oh, to private chat, sure.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna let you know, Kiki, it's not appropriate. But sure, go
But
ahead.
while you're doing
Wait,
that,
what?
is he using them as furniture?
He's using. So what it is he's shirtless and he's a shredded dude, right? So he's showing off his 6-pack and his like muscles, and both his wives are full niqabis, and they're
Oh,
covering his belly button because that's his aura. and that's the picture.
I
Kiki is
wanna-
covering her
I want
face
to see this.
in shock. So it's like literally a mirror selfie of his two Nagabi
No.
wives covering his belly button, because that's an aura. So they both have their hands on his belly button crossing, and like he's shirtless, and they're in all black. Everything black.
I just-
All black.
He tried
Can
to do
I-
a thirst trap with his wives, but they're Nagabis?
Yeah,
didn't-
because he's looking for number 3 and 4.
I saw it and I didn't even realize that his wives were in the picture. I thought he was like sitting with his knees up.
No, those are his wives.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, that's not his knees
Oh my
up.
god. I have to see this picture now. Can you send it? I'm still not done with the picture.
I love
I'm sorry.
this so much.
Like-
So you said he has his aura in his belly button and they're covering his belly button with their
Yeah.
hands. But if you zoom in,
Why are you
their
zooming in, bro?
wrists-
But go
their
ahead.
wrists are blurred out.
No, you're kidding.
Yes.
Oh, because
Oh wow. Yeah, I
Yeah,
saw that and I was
he
like,
put
why is
little
there like
animated GIFs on 'em.
band-aids?
also I think now I'm looking at it. This is Photoshop. Like, look at the elbow. Did we just expose it? This is like if you look at the elbow, it's Photoshop.
No, the
bro.
elbow is his.
No, but look at the way it's
No.
cut. That's not.
Oh, it's-
that's not
No.
smooth.
I think he just has a weird shaped elbow. I
Oh,
think
okay.
that's the muscles.
Okay.
Yeah. Muscles
Why
and
wouldn't
the
he
bad
like
quality
look-
camera.
well, I don't know.
So
Why
going
didn't
back,
they cover his like,
Bro, everything about this looks photoshopped. Now that I'm looking at it, the phone in his hand looks photoshopped.
Yeah.
The sign on the door looks photoshopped. Like,
Why is there? I would have removed that red thing on the stairs, low key. There's like that. If
Wait,
I
this is
don't
a
know how to
video. This
explain
isn't even
word.
a. I'm
it's
sorry.
it's a video because the blurs that he put on his wife's wrists are animated.
Oh, okay.
So
What
it
were you
saves
saying,
as a
Kiki,
video
before I-
automatically.
Before I
The
continue, what
red
were you
thing
saying?
in the back, like
Yeah.
that should have been removed. Like there's just so many
Photography,
issues.
compositions coming out. Her composition.
Yeah.
She's like, she does this to me when I'm posting photos for my profiles. I will say, play the video. It's like they have one of those nasheeds in the background. It's like, why do you have nasheed?
I heard it
No.
started playing while you guys were talking, and I was just like, "What?"
So
Exactly.
my question is,
Ah! Okay, he responded, the red robe is his, so that's his robe hanging off the stairs.
Oh,
Don't
I
Okay.
worry.
see.
He probably just took it off to take this picture.
oh, interesting.
Of course.
Of
So
course.
my question is, because we're talking about
Are they besties?
who's besties.
The wives? Like, I
Do they
mean, if
even
they're
know
gonna
who each
stand,
other are? They're not allowed to talk. You can't see them.
Yeah.
He could
He
just be
tells them both to
alternating
zip it.
about.
Ugh.
Here's my question now. Akil also complains, no one likes you. You said that about the apps. No one matches me with these apps, But a guy like this, who's tell people to zip it and shut up,
Yeah.
he got 2, right?
Yeah.
Is being kind the wrong way to go about
No.
this?
Shut up. No. Always be kind. But
I love you, Akil. I do, bro. You're the realest dude there is.
but you asked before we looked at this picture, like what kind of people would stay with someone like this.
Yes.
And
Yes.
I think it comes down to 2 types of people. This is my hypothesis, so you can
Mhm.
you can jump in if I'm off base here. One, people who are also unkind, because what I've been finding out is, and this is in like American political discourse that I've been looking at recently, is that people who are uncharitable in their beliefs, people who are unkind in their actions, they assume that everyone else is too.
Absolutely, this is so true. Yes,
Mm.
yes.
Yeah. So it could be someone that's like, yeah, of course they're treating me like garbage because I treat people like garbage too. That's just how the world works. So that's one type. The other type is the worst type, and that's people who have been conditioned or taught that this is the way it's supposed to be.
Mhm.
Lots
Like
of
this is the
people-
world around you.
Yeah, this is
Right.
the world around you. I'm only like, my family is abusive, my parents are abusive. Their friends are also abusive to their kids, so that's the entire world that I know. So, telling your wife to shut up is how you say you love them, and that's what I learned from my parents, so that's what I'm going to look for in a husband. And it like when I'm describing it like that, it sounds like I'm calling these people dumb. I'm not calling these people dumb. Emotional abuse, as we've already talked about 5
Yeah.
episodes ago, is very insidious. It
Your math is great.
bypasses your brain, it bypasses your intelligence, it bypasses your emotions, and goes straight to the core of who you are as a person. So these are just fundamentally broken people who are like, yeah, this is the way that life works, because that's the only thing they know.
Yeah, I agree with you on that.
It would be great if his wives were in the first category, though, and all 3 of them are just mean to each other. That'd be hilarious.
One of my friends, he's a convert. He was just saying, you know what? We have to do a video. We have to do a podcast on polygyny, multiple wives, because like it just got brought up. And
Is this staying in the podcast?
Polygyny? Polygyny?
Polygyny. Polygyny is when the men can marry multiple people, or polyamory, or polygamy.
Polygamy?
Polygamy is when both people, the man and the woman, could marry multiple people. Polygyny is the word for when men could only do it, and that's where Islam.
I did not know that there's a separate word for that.
Yes, that's hence I said polygyny. But let's do a podcast of that, because what you just said about the 2 different type of people, about people who are mean and people who are hurt. One of my friends was a convert, and he was on OkCupid. He was dating, and then someone didn't say they were polyamorous, and he met them, right?
Mhm.
And he doesn't like polyamorous. And one of the things he said was the way he described polyamorous people is exactly the way you described the first group of people. And he was saying it's like they have no emotions almost, and it's even hard for them to get hurt because they have very little expectation of others. So like when they hurt you, they don't even understand that they hurt you. And then like if you do something to them, they're not hurt because they had low expectations. So that could be another episode.
Fantastic. So let's
Yeah.
wrap up this episode with just some religious kindness. Zen, I think you have a tafsir on this.
Sure. So the verse, oh believers, do not let men ridicule others. They may be better than me, nor let some women ridicule other women. They may be better than them. Do not defame one another, nor call each other by offensive nicknames. How evil is it to act rebelliously after having faith? And whosoever does not repent, it is they who are the true wrongdoers. Again, be nice to one another. Don't tell each other zip it. Be kind when you're memorizing Quran, like we went to the first segment. And the last thing also, which we didn't touch upon this podcast, was this verse also was sent down to talk about tribal and racial issues. Don't be judgmental towards other races. Oh, he's from this village. He's from, this race. They're like this, they're that. Right? Because that's also mean. Unfortunately, we couldn't talk about interracial marriages and, being nice to someone who's not the same race as you, but you're married to them. Don't be racist against your spouse. But that's what this verse was also talking about.
Kiki, are you thinking what I'm thinking?
I'm thinking what you, when I saw your face, I was like, wait.
Yeah. What did I?
Nothing.
Nothing. Vyadi Nakar.
We'll put some glue on our lips.
No, I want to know now.
We'll let you know later.
Mhm. I'll text you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Scandalous. Next episode. We're definitely going to discuss this one day.
Oh, I don't think you want that.
Yeah.
Are you
That's
saying
why we respect you. Therefore,
Okay. Okay.
we added glue to our lips.
Okay. Cool.
But yeah, I think, like you said, this goes for all types of people, all differences of people, right? We're all people. We're all Allah's creation. I think every single person is due at least that amount of respect. And then any additional respect that you see fit would just be on top of that.
Yeah. And honestly, I feel like the people who go through something, they end up being so much kinder to other people. And like,
half the time.
Yeah.
Sometimes it can be your Joker moment, and that turns you into monster. Sometimes it makes you better. Sometimes it makes you worse.
One thing Sheikh Hamza Yusuf once said, and it stuck to me, is don't judge someone the way they are today, because tomorrow they could be better than you.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
And I think that's a huge thing that we forget a lot of the times.
I think about that a lot, especially when I see like no judgment, but like if somebody takes off their hijab or they leave their religion and you badmouth them, literally 2 months later you could be in their position.
Or
Yeah,
exactly.
not even tomorrow, not even 2 months from now. You don't know their entire story. They may
Exactly.
already be better than you. They
Yeah.
may
Yeah.
have, very important reasons for doing what they do that you don't know.
Yeah. Like never judge a book by its cover.
hmm
Point
Oh
blank.
yeah.
Simple.
But
Yeah.
caveat to that, make sure that your book cover represents who you are.
Mm-hmm.
True. Also, I think there's a hadith which I cannot quote word for word, but if you judge someone for doing a sin, Allah will not let you leave this world without
Yeah,
doing that sin.
exactly. That's kind of
Yeah.
like, yeah. But
Yeah. So that's scary, man.
hmm
So
Yeah.
don't be judgmental and be kind, is what I say.
yes.
Yes. Or just do all the sins first, and then you can make fun of whoever you want.
Moral of the story.
I'm not endorsing that one.
And on that note,
On that note,
importance and out.
Thank you so much for joining us on Local Chai. Tell your friends to put some glue on their lips. Let us know how it goes in the comments down below. And what are some times when you chose to be kind? How did that work out for you? Let us know in the comments on YouTube. If you listen on Spotify, you can leave a voice message.
Watch Akil's video and respond to it. Actually, he made a video to this, the kind one. Remember
I did.
being kind?
Yes.
Yeah.
Go
put
on
that
TikTok
here.
and say something nice about yourself. And as always, you can spill your own chai at localchai.de. Bye, everyone.
Bye.